if I was writing this, I will approach the question. So we are given point P, and then P, it's like you don't know what is P. We know which we have X, we also have Y. Okay? And then P is in the X-axis. I think we can see that. Okay? And then we just have to confirm it. P, Q, R are the vertices of P, Q, R. P is a point on the X-axis. Since it's on the X-axis, it means they are giving me Y. What is my Y? My Y is going to be 0. No? And then they say the equation of PR. Let's check the equation of PR. So starting from here up until here, we have an equation. So I'll simply write it here so that I remember. What is the equation of PR? The equation of PR is given as X plus Y plus 2, which is going to be equal to what? To 0. Now let's agree on something here. Okay. This thing is not in a standard form. And then we can't talk about M. We don't know what is M of this line because it's not in a standard form. So if we're to determine M of this thing, we need to put it in a standard form. So how would you put it in a standard form? You say you have X plus Y plus 2, which is 0. You take X to this other side again. You take 2 to this other side. It says Y is going to be equal to minus X again. Minus 2. What is going to be M? What is going to be the gradient here? Yeah, the gradient is going to be actually minus 1. Just in case we'll need the gradient. And then after that, they say we have theta. Theta is an angle of inclination. It's an angle between an x-axis and line PQ. So if I want to get theta, this is how I'm going to get theta. I'm going to get theta, which is the tan of theta is going to be equal to M of PQ. No? And then I will also say, which this alpha here, you see alpha. Okay? Alpha is an angle between an x-axis So I agree we're speaking about alpha. No? You can see. So we spoke of alpha. Alpha is an angle between an x-axis and line PR. So how would you alpha? You write the formula. How would you get alpha? You will say tan of alpha is going to be given by M of QR. You see the difference between the two again? How do you get theta? Look at theta. How do you get theta? Theta is an angle between the x-axis and PQ again. Say one again. Then you will use M of PQ. And then for alpha, you see alpha again? Alpha is an angle between the x-axis and line PR. You see it again? So if you want to get alpha, which gradient are you going to use? You're going to use the gradient of what? Of QR. You see the difference again? Okay, and then they say, which is number 1, what should we do? Determine the gradient of QR. Let's go and check QR. Do we know the coordinates of Q? Do we know the coordinates of R? So we can simply write them. So here we have Q, which is given as 7 and 6. We have R, which is given as 4 and minus 6. And then M. What is M? Y2 minus Y1 all over X2 minus X1. Okay, let's do it alphabetical then. Between Q and R, PQR. Yes. Stalango 6.2. Is this 6.2? Are you sure? What is 6.1? Determine the equation of line. Oh, here it is. Okay, let's continue with this number 2. We'll go back to number 1. Okay. I'll go back to number 1 because I've already started with this one, unless they don't affect each other. Okay. So if we do this one alphabetically, we said we have this one is Q, this one is R. Okay? If we do it alphabetically, we say PQR. So we can say this one is X1, this one is Y1, Y2, X2, Y2. What is Y2? What did you get as a Y2? What did we write? It's minus 6. Okay, let's go and sub then. Y2, it's minus 6. Minus open bracket 6 all over X2, 4 minus open bracket 7. Okay, check that. Minus 6. Minus 6. All over 4 minus 7. Sharp. And then you get what? 4. I'm doing number 2. I started with number 2. The gradient of, determine the gradient of QR. This one is 2 marks. Let's go to 6.1 then. 6.1, they say, determine the equation of a line parallel to PR. It's a line parallel to PR, which is this one again. So there's a line which is parallel to PR, and then they say it passes through point Q. They're being specific. It passes through point Q again. So we can do that. Let's draw a line which is going to be parallel to this one. So if you just draw a line which is going to be parallel to this one, something like this, and then it should pass through point Q. So this one is parallel to this one. And then what is it that we know about parallel lines? The gradients are going to be equal. So the M of PR is going to be equivalent to M parallel. Let's call it M parallel, which means it's going to be equivalent to what? -1. Okay, we'll get 1 mark for that. You can't see anymore. It's fine. Okay. And then we can then say Y is going to be given by -1x plus C. So which point are we going to use here? Point Q. It's 7:6. So we can come and say Y is 6 again. Minus open bracket 7 plus C. Negative and a positive, what do you get here? You get -7 plus C is equal to 6. Okay, 7 to this other side, we get what? 13, which is going to be C. Therefore, what is going to be the equation? Y is going to be equal to -x plus 13. Just check yourself if you got this. It's 3 marks. No? Where is your 3 marks? Getting the value of C, getting the equation, and getting M. We're good. Let's go to the third one. Third one, they say, determine the coordinates of P. What is happening at P here? We said we know what is Y. And then we have an equation. Can you see that one? We have the equation of line PR. So we can use the equation of PR saying Y should be 0. So you come and put 0. You say you have X plus 0 again, plus 2 is equal to 0. Take this one to this other side. It says which X is going to be equal to what? -2. So putting 0 then getting -2, you tell them P is going to be equal to -2 and what? And 0. They will give you 2 marks. We're still fine. Okay, this is the one that Kopano says he hates. Kopano Uti, they say determine the coordinate of T such that, let's look at this. What is T? T is a point such that TPRQ is a parallelogram. TPRQ is a parallelogram. So T can be somewhere here. Like this. Huh? Okay. What is T? T is a point such that we have something that looks like this. So we have something that looks like this. Such that, like I'm just drawing a rough sketch. I don't know what is T. I have no idea where is T. But they're telling me I need to have T. They say TPRQ is going to be a parallelogram. So point T can be somewhere here. We're still fine there. What do we need to know? We need to know which we have a parallelogram. What is one of the famous properties of a parallelogram? Famous property of a parallelogram is that diagonals bisect each other. So what are we going to do here? Because we know which T is going to be somewhere here, we're going to tell them which the midpoint of QR is going to be equal to the midpoint of PT. So let's do that then. Let's calculate the midpoint of QR. What is going to be the midpoint of QR? We're going to call it coordinates of M, and then we're going to get it by saying x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2, like this. And then my coordinates that we're going to be using this one, x1, x2, y1, y2. And then our M is going to be given by 7 plus 7 all over 2. And then we have 6 plus 6 all over 2. That is going to be our midpoint. Now, if you type this in your calculator, if you say this one, it's going to give you 7. Okay? So our midpoint says which we are going to have 7, and then we're also going to have what? 6. So this is our midpoint. Our midpoint is 7 and what? And 6. 7 and 6. Okay. Now this midpoint, look at what is going to happen, man. This 7 and 6, man. What's happening here? Guys, you made me lie, man. We said this one plus this one. Okay. It's 7 plus 4. Guys, 6 plus minus 6. 6 plus minus 6. Guys, you are here. You are allowing me to make mistakes. And it didn't make sense, yo. And what we get here, we get 7 plus 4, okay? Which gives us 3 all over 2. This gives us 3 all over 2. And then here we get 0, because 6 and 6, they're going to give us 0. So these are the coordinates of the midpoint. They're somewhere here. You have 11 over 2. It's 11 all over 2. 11 all over 2 and 0. Okay, let's come and check here. Let's update this. It's 11 all over 2 and 0. But 0, I'm fine. It's fine. I'm right. Kisha Sharp. What are we going to do with this midpoint? This midpoint, we're going to use it such that it is the midpoint of line PT. Ne? So if we use P and T, they're at the end. This one, which is M is in the middle. So what does Elena have? Elena is going to do it this way. They're going to say X of the midpoint is going to be given by X1 plus X2 divided by 2. And then they will also use something like this. They will say Y of the midpoint is going to be equal to Y1 plus Y2 divided by what? By 2. So if you are given something like this, you come and say, okay, but this one we already know. We know it as minus 2 again. And then we have PT. Which one comes first? Huh? The coordinates of M. It's 11 all over 2 is to 0. Okay? Yes. Huh? Y6. Y6. Agree, we said this one plus this one divided by 2. It's 6 plus minus 6. It gives us, it's fine. Okay. It's 6 minus 6 divided by 2, and then it gives us 0. And then you get the midpoint here, guys. This midpoint is also the midpoint of PT. Does it make sense? In midpoint, if they say which T is a point such that T is a parallelogram, they're trying to tell learners which, okay, I needed to find which way is this point T going to be. This point T can be somewhere here. Okay? Now we use the fact that diagonal bisect each other. So you're going to have diagonals bisecting each other. The midpoint, this M, is going to be the M of QR. It's also going to be the M of PT. Now we already know what is M. Again, if we know M, then we can use that into our advantage. X at the midpoint, we know it. This is 3 all over 2. What is going to be X1? If you do this alphabetical, you can come and call this one X1. This one is going to be Y1. This one here, you're going to have X and what and Y. Then you call this one X2, and then this one is going to be what? Y2. Yes. Equations. Yeah, but you can't get the equations. How are you going to get the equations, Kopan? Because you need the equation of QT. You also need the equation of QR. Where are you going to get them? Because you only have 1 point. You want to use which, okay, this gradient and this gradient are going to be equal. Okay, and then you want to say this gradient and this gradient, they're also going to be equal. Yeah, you can do that, but it's longer compared to this one. You'll see the difference. I think here you still have to find the equation. Okay? After finding the equation, then you equate them. So now I'm avoiding that. I'm saying let's use diagonal bisect each other. You calculate the midpoint. We can do it that way, the way Kopano did it. We'll talk about it after this. So here I'm going to say which I have X at P. X at P is minus 2. Plus X all over 2. This side you have Y at the midpoint is 0, which is going to be equal to 0 plus Y all over 2, like this. And then if you simplify this one, you cross multiply, this one comes here, it says multiplied by 2. It says 3 is going to be, it's 11 all over 2. Yeah, you get 11 here, minus 2 plus X. Take this 2 to this other side, it says 13 is going to be equal to what? X. So our x at t is 13 here. We can come and tell them which x at t. This x of t is 13. This is going to be 13. We just don't know what is y. Let's go and find out what is going to be y. Cross multiply, you multiply by 2, it says 0. Take this 0 to this other side, it says which y is going to be equal to what? To 0. So you have 13 and what? And 0. Those are going to be the coordinates of what? Of t, meaning which t is in this point, is in the x-axis here. Which is such a point which is in the x-axis. Now, Kopan, I will come back to that one of yours. Let's finish this one. I will come back to that one. They say which we should determine the angle. Let's look at this angle here. Angle PQR. We are looking for angle PQR, which is this angle here. Now, I repeat again, learners, if you want to get this angle here, we want to get this angle here. It's angle PQR. Q is the one which is in the middle. You come and check, okay, Q is in the middle. Because Q is in the middle, it means we are talking about angle Q. How do learners approach this question? It's simple, guys. You are going to check with the angle is between which two lines. This angle is between which two lines. Check the lines that is between. It's between which two lines. It's between angle PQ, and then it's also between angle what? QR. We are going to calculate the gradient. If you haven't calculated the gradient of PQ, calculate the gradient of PQ. Do we know what is the gradient of PQ? I think we found it. Okay? What is the gradient of PQ? We got it. Did we get the gradient of PQ? We didn't get it. Let's get the gradient of PQ. Okay, let's get the gradient of PQ. We're going to tell them which is the M of PQ. M of PQ. M of PQ is going to be given by 6 minus 0 all over 7 minus 2. Like this, okay? And then you type this in your calculator. What do you get? You get 2 all over what? All over 3. Now, even if you don't know how to get the angle, when I just calculate the gradient of this line, if they didn't ask you to calculate the gradient, you will get a mark for calculating the gradient. And then after that, what are we going to do? We are going to get the angle of inclination. Angle of inclination, they already told you this is theta. You come and tell them which is the tan of theta is going to be given by 2 all over 3. And then you'll say which theta is going to be given by the tan arc of 2 all over 3. And then you type this in your calculator. Let's check what you get. Is what? 33,69. 33, what, 69. Next, this angle is between which two lines? That's the question that we asked. Do we know what is the gradient of QR? I think we know that one. Do we know what is the gradient of QR? Did they ask us about QR here? Yeah, we calculated the gradient of QR. We got the gradient of QR as what? As 4 again. So they are not going to give us a mark if we calculate it again because we've already calculated it. But we are going to use that into our advantage. We're going to tell them which the tan of alpha is going to be equal to M of QR. And then we'll tell them which alpha is going to be equal to the tan arc of 4. And then you type this in your calculator. You get what? Shift 10 arc of 4 again. You get what? 75. 75,96 again. 75,96. Now, even if you couldn't get the whole marks, look at this, guys. The question they're in a 5 marks again. What were the marks that Elena was going to get? I repeat, as last time I told you about this, you didn't do it. You're going to get a mark for calculating a gradient if the gradient was not requested before. You're going to get a mark for getting theta. You're going to get a mark for getting alpha. All in all, this thing I think is 5 marks, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it should be 5 marks. It's 5 marks. So look at this thing. You got the marks even if you didn't understand what was the question. You calculated the gradient, you got the angle of inclinations. And then from the onwards, then you are going to make a conclusion. You're going to tell them the angle that they're looking for. You write the angle that they're looking for. They call it PQR. Again, angle PQR is going to be, look at this, angle PQR is going to be equal to 75,96 minus 33,69. Because it's an acute angle. If it was an obtuse angle, I add. You check this angle, it is acute. If it's an acute, you subtract. If it's obtuse, you add. These two angles that you got. And then you tell them, which the reason why you are saying this is because you have exterior angle of a triangle. And then it's always the same reason. It's an exterior angle of a triangle, always. And then what you get as your answer is 42, 42,27. And then guys, there's no need for us not to get AMA marks when they say an angle. And the angle in AMA marks are meaning it's 5 marks. How do you get an angle? You check angle which is between these two lines. Let's take this one, for example. How are you going to do this one? Let's say they say determine what is going to be PRQ. What is going to be PRQ? How would you determine PRQ? Do that one, much. PRQ, how would you determine